Intersectionality is the complex,
cumulative way in which the effects
of multiple forms of discrimination, such as racism,
sexism, and classism,
combine, overlap, or intersect,
especially in the experiences of marginalized individuals or groups.
Kimberly Crenshaw introduced the theory of intersectionality, the idea that when it comes to thinking about how inequalities persist,
categories like gender, race, and class are best understood as overlapping and mutually constitutive rather than isolated and distinct.
I first learned about intersectionality here at Vagina Monologues during one of our group meetings.
So I didn't hear about intersectionality until I got to college. I mean, I knew about feminism in high school, I was a feminist in high school, but I really didn't understand what the term meant and how it impacted people who weren't cis, white, privileged.
I first learned about intersectionality when I was in high school, when some friends in choir and I all started a intersectional feminist club. We actually started it, and I wanted it to just be called Feminist Club because I didn't know about the term, and my friend said let's call it intersectional feminist so that we don't just have to talk about the history of first wave, second wave, third wave feminism, which tends to be centered around white women. I learned about it, and I honestly had the thought of, why doesn't everyone know what this means?
Intersectional issues affected me because that's who I am. Not only am I a woman, but I'm also an Asian woman, and so representation for me is really hard to find.
Intersectionality has affected me as a queer woman. A lot of white feminism is the concept of feminism is just closed to people who are people of color and who are romantic sexual minorities.
How many of my professors are female? How many of them are of color? You know, it's a really small fraction, which especially speaks to me because I want to be a woman in academia.
Going to like women's marches as being a place that didn't accept Jewish women was another aspect that like kind of hurt me.
Something that I do to ensure that my feminism is intersectional is to learn when to take space and when to make space. I know that I'm coming from a very unique position in the fact that I've navigated the world both as a gender non-conforming woman as well as someone who identifies and puts themselves out into the world as a man. And so knowing when my opinion and my experience is valuable and I need to step up, and also knowing that when I'm coming from a place of privilege in terms of my class, my ability, and my race is when to step back and let other voices come forward and make sure that they're heard.
If I say something or do something that like isn't inclusive, and if somebody is like, you know, brave enough to like say like, you know, that's actually not right, or like maybe you shouldn't say that, like rather than immediately like fighting back or like being like, well, you know, maybe this isn't wrong, or like trying to defend myself, is like really catching myself on that and like trying to see from their perspective why they're calling me out.
So I make my feminism inclusive by really just understanding the backgrounds and stories of everyone that I meet.
One way that I've been inclusive to others in my feminism is making sure that you're honoring and respecting pronouns. It's a very simple way to make sure that not just cis women are included in feminism, that all women, all people who are non-gender conforming are included in feminism.
The Vagina Monologues and Their Stories is so important to me because it's so special to be a part of a group who wants the same things that you want, who are fighting for the same things that you want.
The Vagina Monologues and Their Stories are important to me because they recognize everyone that's been impacted by the gender binary. And we really tried to implement intersectional issues this year. And I really appreciate all that we do for the community and for our beneficiaries.
The Vagina Monologues and Their Stories is important to me because it allows our community to uplift our voices, create art, and be with like-minded people to create positive change.
We just need to keep in mind that in approaching feminism, we need to make sure that all voices are heard, not just the ones that are the loudest.